Key points. 1. Pakistan's unique mountain landscape. The convergence of the Himalayas, Karakoram, and Hindu Kush ranges forms one of the most dramatic and challenging terrains in the world. It includes 5 8,000ers, such as K2 and Nanga Parbat, marking the death zone above 8,000 m, where oxygen levels are critically low. 2. Achievements in mountaineering. Sirbaz Khan, first Pakistani to summit all 14 8,000ers. Shahroz Kashif achieved the same feat at just 22 years old. Both climbers exemplify the physical and mental resilience required for extreme altitude mountaineering. 3. Role of high-altitude porters. Critical responsibilities: carrying equipment, setting up routes, fixing anchors, and ensuring climbers' safety in the death zone. Underappreciation. Porters are paid around $1,000 for a 6-week expedition compared to Nepalese Sherpas earning over $10,000. Life insurance for Pakistani porters is $1,500, a fraction of the Sherpas' coverage. Historical neglect. Cases like Amir Mehdi, 1952, and Hassan Shigri, 2023, highlight systemic disregard for Pakistani porters. 4. Commercialization of mountaineering. Evolution. Transition from elite athletic conquests to a commercialized industry where clients pay for guided expeditions. Nepalese Sherpas' success. The Nepalese community transformed their role by managing expeditions and ensuring better pay and recognition. 5. Challenges in Pakistan. Lack of institutional support. No formal training or certification systems for Pakistani porters. Limited local opportunities. Pakistani porters are often relegated to secondary roles, while Nepalese Sherpas dominate even in Pakistan's mountains. 6. Recommendations for reforms. Government role. Establish mountaineering schools in Skardu and Hunza for training in technical climbing, safety, and rescue operations. Develop a mountain tourism policy focusing on porter welfare, sustainability, and safety. Private sector engagement. Support organizations like Kirpa Care Pakistan, which trains porters voluntarily. Allow private companies to offer helicopter rescue services for emergencies. Recognition and equity. Advocate for better wages, insurance, and global acknowledgement of Pakistani porters' contributions. 7. Conclusion. While mountaineering continues to attract global enthusiasts, the hidden labor of high-altitude porters often goes unnoticed. To ensure equity and safety in this hazardous industry, Pakistan must prioritize porter welfare, professionalize mountain tourism, and celebrate its human resources alongside its natural wonders. Crux. Pakistan's majestic mountain ranges, the Himalayas, Karakoram, and Hindu Kush, host iconic peaks, including 5 of the world's 14 8,000ers. While climbers like Sirbaz Khan and Shahroz Kashif achieve global fame for summiting these peaks, the invaluable contributions of Pakistani high-altitude porters remain largely unrecognized. Despite playing a critical role in enabling expeditions, these porters face inadequate wages, poor insurance coverage, and lack of professional training compared to their Nepalese counterparts. Addressing these inequalities requires government intervention, private sector engagement, and systemic reforms in mountain tourism and porter welfare. Key points. 1. SCO Summit Speculation. S. Jaishankar's visit. The Indian foreign minister's visit to Islamabad for the SCO summit marked the first such trip in over a decade, but did not lead to bilateral talks. No thaw. Despite former PM Nawaz Sharif's positive remarks and calls for climate diplomacy by Maryam Nawaz, India remained unresponsive. 2. Cricket diplomacy falters. India's refusal. India announced its cricket team would not participate in the Champions Trophy in Pakistan, citing security concerns. Hybrid model rejected. Pakistan dismissed India's suggestion to host matches in Dubai or other neutral venues. 3. Strains in the Indus Waters Treaty. India's demand for review. New Delhi called for amendments, citing fundamental changes, including demographic shifts and environmental challenges. Pakistan's response. Pakistan emphasized resolving disputes within the Indus Waters Commission, urging India to adhere to the treaty. Disagreements. The two nations have clashed over Indian hydroelectric projects on rivers vital for water-stressed Pakistan. 4. Post-2019 Kashmir Dynamics. India's 2019 actions. Annexation and bifurcation. Jammu and Kashmir's special status under Article 370 was revoked, leading to tighter central control. Electoral changes. India introduced legal and demographic shifts, disempowering Kashmiri Muslims. Tensions intensify. Pakistan downgraded diplomatic ties and suspended trade following India's actions. 5. Political and electoral backlash in Kashmir. J&K Assembly Elections, 2024. Outcome. Local parties rejected BJP's agenda, passing a resolution to restore pre-2019 autonomy. Clashes. BJP legislators were expelled from the assembly for disrupting proceedings. PM Modi's response declared that Article 370 is permanently buried, dismissing calls for autonomy restoration. 6. India's strategic freeze. No dialogue on Kashmir. India maintains that the Kashmir dispute is settled and refuses to negotiate. Trade and other issues. The Modi government prefers to keep relations frozen, believing it impacts Pakistan more than India. 7. Bleak outlook for re-engagement. India's stance. Foreign Minister Jaishankar stated the era of uninterrupted dialogue with Pakistan is over. Diplomatic impasse. With India unwilling to engage on Kashmir or trade, the likelihood of normalization remains uncertain. Conclusion. The deadlock in Pakistan-India relations stems from unresolved historical issues, particularly Kashmir, compounded by recent policy shifts under the Modi government. With both sides entrenched in their positions, the prospect of meaningful dialogue or improved ties appears increasingly bleak. Crux. Despite speculations around improving relations between Pakistan and India, recent developments highlight a deepening diplomatic deadlock. Key obstacles include India's refusal to discuss the Kashmir issue, a strained Indus Waters Treaty, and ongoing disagreements over sports and trade. The Modi government's post-2019 actions in Jammu and Kashmir, aimed at consolidating its control, have further strained ties, leaving little room for dialogue or re-engagement. Key points. 1. Negligence at Nishtar Hospital. Incident. Dialysis machines designated for HIV-positive patients were used for general kidney patients, resulting in at least 30 patients contracting HIV. Delayed action. The hospital became aware of the issue in October 2024 but initially tried to suppress the information. Public acknowledgement came only after a patient died from HIV-related complications. Faulty lab testing. Initial hospital HIV tests showed false negatives, while private labs confirmed positive results. 2. Consequences of poor protocols. Dialysis procedure failures. Regular pre-session screenings for diseases like hepatitis or HIV were either skipped or incompetently conducted. Lax protocols resulted in contamination spreading through the dialysis equipment. Uncontrolled spread. Infected patients might unknowingly transmit HIV to others, including spouses or partners, exacerbating the crisis. 3. Repeated healthcare disasters in Pakistan. Chanka Medical College Hospital, Larkana, 2016. Over 50 dialysis patients were infected with HIV due to similar lapses in procedure. Ratadero HIV outbreak, 2019. 282 individuals, including children, were infected when a doctor reused syringes and unsanitary equipment. The doctor was accused of negligence, but was also a scapegoat for deeper systemic failures. 4. Systemic issues in Pakistan's healthcare. Chronic negligence. Healthcare institutions often ignore SOPs, with little accountability. Investigative committees are routinely formed, but rarely produce actionable results. Wider implications. Negligence at hospitals not only infects immediate patients, but also leads to potential exponential spread of diseases like HIV. Pakistan's healthcare sector suffers from a lack of resources, trained staff, and effective oversight. 5. The call for systemic reform. Accountability. Repeated incidents like these demand stricter monitoring and real consequences for negligence. Adherence to protocols. Hospitals must enforce international standards for infection control. Public awareness. Patients need better awareness of healthcare risks and their rights to ensure safety during treatment. Conclusion. The tragedy at Nishtar Hospital is not an isolated incident, but a symptom of a failing healthcare system. Until systemic reforms address negligence, inadequate resources, and accountability gaps, such preventable disasters will continue to plague Pakistan's public health sector. Crux. Nishtar Hospital in Multan, a key healthcare facility in South Punjab, has made headlines for grave negligence. 30 kidney patients contracted HIV due to improper use of dialysis machines meant for HIV-positive patients. This incident echoes previous healthcare disasters in Pakistan, including the Ratadero HIV outbreak and similar cases in Larkana. These repeated tragedies highlight systemic failures in Pakistan's healthcare system, which is plagued by negligence, ineffective protocols, and a culture of cover-ups.
Key points.
1. Issue with discouraging questions. Teacher's response to curiosity. A teacher's rebuke, "Don't act too smart," to a curious student highlights the prevalent mindset discouraging questioning. Flawed priorities. Schools focus more on discipline and teacher-centered learning than on encouraging curiosity and engagement. 2. Importance of encouraging questions. Critical for learning. Questions arise from a thinking mind and help deepen understanding. They allow students to identify knowledge gaps and enhance critical thinking skills. Building confidence. Encouraging questions fosters confidence and self-expression in students. Students learn that curiosity is a strength and a tool for exploration. Collaborative environment. Questions promote collaboration and create a dynamic, albeit chaotic, learning environment where creativity thrives. 3. Barriers to questioning in classrooms. Teacher-centric approach. Many educators fear losing control, aiming to remain the focal point of classroom interactions. Misunderstanding chaos. Vibrant, question-driven environments are often mistaken for indiscipline. 4. Long-term implications of stifling questions. A hindrance to critical skills. Students lose the ability to think independently, express themselves, and solve problems creatively. Affects their ability to engage with tools like AI, which requires forming relevant questions and prompts. Digital literacy. Without questioning skills, students struggle to conduct research or utilize technology effectively. Lack of problem solving. Great scientific advancements were driven by questioning. Without fostering this, students cannot develop into problem solvers. 5. Recommendations for change. Shift in teaching approach. Teachers should encourage students to ask questions and even create their own based on reading material. Flip the traditional model of teacher-posed questions to student-generated ones. Active learning. Engage students in critical thinking by involving them in discussions and explorations. Safe learning spaces. Create environments where students feel safe and encouraged to express their thoughts without judgment. 6. Broader educational impacts. Decision-making skills. Asking questions prepares students for real-world scenarios requiring critical decisions. Reading comprehension. Encouraging questions improves reading and comprehension skills across subjects. Foundation for future innovation. Encouraging hypothetical questions lays the groundwork for innovation and scientific inquiry. Conclusion. By fostering a classroom culture that values questioning, educators can nurture curious, confident, and capable learners ready to tackle real-world challenges. This shift is essential for transforming passive learners into active problem solvers equipped for a rapidly evolving world. Crux. The article critiques the current educational mindset in Pakistani classrooms that discourages questioning, emphasizing discipline over curiosity. It advocates for fostering a culture where students can ask questions freely to develop critical thinking, creativity, and problem-solving skills. This approach not only enhances learning but also prepares students for real-world challenges, including digital and AI-driven environments, by enabling them to explore and understand independently.
Key points.
1. The global threat of AMR. Antibiotics losing effectiveness. Microorganisms have evolved resistance against antibiotics, rendering some treatments ineffective. Global concern. Thousands die annually due to illnesses that no longer respond to antibiotic treatments, with the problem expected to escalate significantly by 2050. 2. Alarming situation in Pakistan. Third highest antibiotic consumption. Pakistan ranks among the top consumers of antibiotics globally, with minimal regulation. Improper practices. Doctors prescribe antibiotics without proper diagnoses. Pharmacies sell antibiotics over the counter, without prescriptions. Patients misuse these drugs, further aggravating the resistance issue. 3. Consequences of AMR. Medical emergency. Experts predict AMR could cause 40 million deaths worldwide by 2050, disproportionately affecting developing nations like Pakistan. Economic impact. Longer hospital stays. Costlier treatments that are often inaccessible. Loss of work hours due to prolonged illnesses. 4. Need for a national strategy. WHO recommendations. Promote antimicrobial stewardship to train doctors in responsible antibiotic use. Ensure affordable lab tests for accurate diagnoses to prevent unnecessary antibiotic prescriptions. Preventive measures. Frequent vaccination campaigns to curb diseases. Improve sanitation in public spaces. Stringent infection control in hospitals. 5. Public awareness and state responsibility. Theme for WAW 2024: Educate, Advocate, Act Now. Greater awareness among the public about the dangers of antibiotic misuse is critical. The state must lead by implementing healthcare policies, increasing access to affordable care, and ensuring healthcare professionals adhere to international standards. Conclusion. Antimicrobial resistance is a looming health crisis, especially for developing countries like Pakistan. While international themes and campaigns can highlight the issue, the solution lies in a coordinated and sustained national effort involving public education, improved healthcare practices, and strict regulatory oversight to ensure antibiotics are used responsibly. Crux. Antimicrobial resistance, AMR, poses a severe global health crisis, particularly in Pakistan, which has the third highest antibiotic consumption in the world. Misuse of antibiotics by patients, pharmacies, and even doctors has exacerbated the situation. To combat this, a national strategy involving education, advocacy, improved healthcare practices, and public awareness is essential. Immediate actions like promoting vaccinations, ensuring cleanliness, and encouraging antimicrobial stewardship can help mitigate the growing threat. Key points. 1. Nawaz Sharif's experience with India. As a multiple-term prime minister, Nawaz Sharif has been deeply involved in efforts to improve Pakistan-India relations. He played a key role during the Lahore Declaration, 1999, when Indian PM Atal Bihari Vajpayee visited Lahore on the Friendship Bus. Efforts to build rapport with Indian PM Narendra Modi, exemplified by Modi's surprise visit to Lahore in 2015. However, moments of promise were derailed by events such as the Kargil conflict, 1999, and shifts in political power, including Gen Musharraf's coup. 2. Current state of Pakistan-India relations. Relations remain at a low phase, with minimal progress on dialogue or conflict resolution. India's rigidity. No substantive engagement on issues like Kashmir. Lack of initiative on CBMs, such as sports and cultural exchanges. Despite India's foreign minister attending the SCO meeting in Islamabad, no tangible progress has been made. 3. The role of cricket diplomacy. Nawaz Sharif advocates cricket as a starting point for rebuilding relations, urging India to participate in the upcoming ICC Champions Trophy in Pakistan. India's refusal to play in Pakistan reflects deeper tensions, but sending their cricket team could serve as a symbolic gesture for peace. 4. Obstacles to dialogue. Pakistan's positive overtures, under both Nawaz Sharif and the current government, have not been reciprocated by India. The lack of mutual trust and divergent political priorities hinder progress. 5. Path forward. Reciprocal gestures are crucial. New Delhi must respond to Islamabad's overtures with similar initiatives. CBMs like cricket diplomacy, people-to-people exchanges, and cultural collaboration can pave the way for broader dialogue. Sustained engagement is necessary to address core issues like Kashmir, trade, and security. Conclusion. While Nawaz Sharif's optimism reflects a commitment to improving ties, the path to peace between Pakistan and India requires more than one-sided efforts. Symbolic gestures like India's participation in the ICC Champions Trophy could be a starting point, but meaningful progress hinges on New Delhi's willingness to engage in dialogue and reciprocal trust-building measures. Crux. Nawaz Sharif, reflecting on his past efforts to mend Pakistan-India relations, believes that dialogue and confidence-building measures, CBMs, such as cricket diplomacy, are essential first steps toward improving strained ties. However, despite Pakistan's overtures, India has shown little interest in reopening dialogue or resolving long-standing issues. The upcoming ICC Champions Trophy could offer a symbolic opportunity to initiate softer engagement, but a meaningful thaw requires reciprocal efforts from New Delhi.
Key points.
1. Alarming statistics on child abuse in Pakistan. Sahil's 6 months cruel numbers report, 2024. 1,630 child abuse cases reported nationwide. Breakdown. 862 cases of sexual abuse. 668 abductions. 82 missing children. 18 child marriages. 48 incidents involving pornography after abuse. Over 4,200 cases of child sexual abuse were reported in 2023, with many more going unreported. 2. Impact of child abuse on society. Socioeconomic toll. Long-term damage to children's physical and mental health. Disruption of their academic and career prospects. Cycle of silence and neglect. Abuse often leads to intergenerational trauma, threatening societal stability and development. 3. Systemic failures in addressing child abuse. Weak criminal justice system. Lack of timely reforms and low conviction rates embolden offenders. Insensitivity of law enforcement. Victims and families often avoid reporting due to fear of police apathy and humiliation. Ineffective legal frameworks. Laws exist, but are not enforced with the urgency and seriousness required. 4. Recommendations for change. Reforms in criminal justice system. Expedite judicial processes for child abuse cases. Ensure harsher penalties for offenders to act as a deterrent. Awareness and education. Promote child safety education in schools. Conduct public campaigns to destigmatize reporting abuse. Victim support systems. Provide accessible counseling and rehabilitation services for victims and their families. Police sensitization. Train law enforcement to handle cases of abuse with empathy and professionalism. Stronger international collaboration. Align national policies with global standards, such as the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Conclusion. Child abuse in Pakistan is not just a social issue, but a national crisis that threatens future generations. While laws and initiatives exist, their ineffectiveness stems from systemic failures and societal neglect. Meaningful change requires a holistic approach involving legal reforms, public education, victim support, and improved accountability mechanisms. Failure to act now jeopardizes not only children's rights, but the country's collective future.